pole. Because
Big binoculars.
in our last video, we explored Fort Carry, which overlooks Port Vauban, and spies on Nice across the bay. Since 1481, Antibes has been ruled by France, guarding the frontier with the county of Nice. Nice was in the Savoyard state and on the front line during the Italian wars. Antibes defended France, and Nice defended the House of Savoy.
Wow, so close to the aeroplanes. We're on our way to Nice, as is that aeroplane.
Our next port is only 10 nautical miles from Antibes, passing by the airport.
Looks like it's going to land on the water.
Today, the jewel of the French Riviera is a short hop for fun-seeking day trippers. It's a peaceful coastline dotted with expensive homes and sandy beaches. Ligurians provide the first evidence of human habitation through the Stone, Copper and Bronze Ages around 5,000 to 2,000 years BC. Tribal people lived in the area between the River Po and River Var for millennia. Despite attempts to collaborate, the Ligurians were forced out by the Romans. Why was Nice so important, and who wanted to control it? Geographically, its location is ideal for trade with Italy, Corsica and Sardinia, and a prominent hill overlooked the sea toward the western county line. The 11th century House of Savoy lorded over a small area in the Southern Alps, landlocked and frozen. Aspirations for wealth, security and an easier life forged a Savoyard determination to conquer and gain seaboard trading advantages, which included the strategic need to occupy and control Nice, Corsica, Italy and Sardinia. Is Nice Italian or French? From 1388 to 1792, the House of Savoy ruled most of the time. Then, under the influence of Napoleon Bonaparte, Nice became a city in France until his demise in 1815. The Kingdom of Sardinia ruled until 1860, then Nice became a French city again, revered by well-to-do English aristocracy as a winter sun destination. Nice is the 5th largest city in France, the capital of the Alpes-Maritimes department, home to over 340,000 people, and is recognised by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. We sailed into Olympia Marina, moored up and explored the local area for groceries. After dinner, we walked around the headland to Promenade d'Anglais. At night the beach is quiet, but just across the street, the old town outdoor market bustles with life. Oh, the contrast! Nice, old and new, is divided by a hill which overlooks both parts of the city. The fort and citadel were demolished following the siege of 1705. We climbed the pathways to look back across the bay, past the airport to Antibes. The rocky outcrop no longer provides early warning of impending invasion. It is a pleasant park with a man-made waterfall, ruins of the old fort, many pathways and shaded rest places. At the top is a small plaza with views over the city. My girl. There's much more to explore in this city, but for us, it's time to move on.
Well, this morning Jonathan didn't even wait for me. He literally undid it all himself. This is us leaving Nice. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. say goodbye.
Thank you, niece. Well, here we are at Villefranche mooring. Hooked up to a mooring buoy, which you need to register for. It's for 12 metres maximum. We're okay with that. If anybody comes out and says, what you're doing here, you haven't registered, we'll just say, all right, we'll go then. And this is Villefranche. So was it the Duke of Savoy who was the ruler of this area? Nice. Thank you.
It's a bit roly-poly, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit roly-poly.
I'm going to stay here tonight on the night. The anchorage normally has some swell rolling into it, and in moderate to strong southerlies is untenable.
So we just sailed off the mooring buoy. Well done.
We did.
Yeah, no engine required. Very nice. Sheltered by this headland at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
What discussion?
Devon about the cruise ships that were anchored and people complained about them.
Oh yes, spoiling the...
There's no smoke coming out of that one.
Well, you haven't got the main engines running at the moment.
Exactly, and I think that's what they were saying. You know, they had smoke bellowing out all the time. Well, they obviously don't.
Yes, we're in doldrums now, aren't we?
Oh no, we'll have to put the engine on just to get out of here, I think, won't we?
It'll pick up in a moment. Ever the optimist. So we're going to get ready to tack. We don't want to end up in their front room, do we? This is why it's called Cote d'Azur. Look at the colour of that water. Looks to be a race going on. I better get out of the way. Uh-oh. Monaco. Here we come. We're crossing the finish line, going the wrong way. On field. This is options. Over.
Isn't it?
It's a what? It's a snack.
Yeah.
Okay. And here we have arrived in Monaco. Quite spectacular with these
Well, the cliffs.
cliffs just here.
It was a bit of a hairy mooring.
Yeah, there was a 10-knot wind on the starboard bow, and very little room to manoeuvre. The Principality of Monaco is an independent and sovereign country with a land area of less than 1 square mile, making it the second smallest country in the world. Comment below if you know which country is smaller. It is also the most densely populated country in the world, with more than 125 different nationalities represented. We were not sure our little old boat would fit in with the swanky speedboats and gin palaces, but booked ahead for a berth at Port Fontvielle overlooked by the Prince's Palace and the cathedral. The marina was spotless, the facilities were 5-star posh, and the showers were the best yet. Time to explore and learn more about this fascinating place, Princess Grace, Monte Carlo, the F1 race, gambling, and Grimaldi law. Options is there. I requested getting into Port Hercule, which is this port, but I think the boat was a bit short, couldn't quite marry up with the size of these little vessels that are in here. overlooked by the palace, the Rainiers. Are you ready to go to the casino and lose some money?
We don't need babe. We're just going. Do what you do.
This would be a good vantage point to watch the Formula One cars going up through the tunnel. Steps. Phocaeans from the 6th century BC Massalia, now known as Marseille, occupied the rock and natural harbour. They called it Monaicos and believed demigod Heracles had passed through, hence the name Port Hercules. How did the House of Grimaldi obtain this land from the Genoese at the end of the 13th century and remain independent from the House of Savoy, which ruled over everything around it? Francois Grimaldi, disguised as a Franciscan monk, took the castle of Monaco supported by his cousin Rainier and his men. At his death in 1306, Francois was succeeded by his cousin Rainier I. To avoid losing Monaco to the Duchy of Savoy, the Grimaldi sided with Provence and the Kingdom of France by marrying into French nobility. In 1489, the Grimaldis achieved indisputable sovereignty and independence granted by King Charles VIII of France. Monaco and neighbouring county of Nice were taken by the Revolutionary Army of 1792. In 1814, Napoleon abdicated. Nice passed back to Sardinia and Savoys, and Monaco to the Grimaldi. Marina just said, "Look at our boat, doesn't it look tiny?"
And we've left washing on the edges. Oh gosh. You know, because beside that yacht, I didn't feel like we were that small.
Yeah, well, it's just the right size to get into places that these other ones can't.
And you're right, oh look at the rocks there, because you were hoping to sort of use that space, weren't you, to manoeuvre in?
Yeah, the rocks down there.
Yeah.
I didn't know how deep it was.
No, because our depth gauge doesn't work.
So this is a good explanation, really, of how much we don't know. Sheena's just said, on Article 5, well, I would have understood that in French, but in Italian, no idea. And that's where we're going next. Italia. How Lady Justice. And just round the corner, down here. Cathedral. In 1949, Prince Rainier III succeeded as sovereign prince and turned around the fortune of the principality. He hit the headlines and the jackpot by marrying American film star Grace Kelly. Monaco was now firmly on the map. Tourism rocketed, banking and finance thrived. Tragically, Grace died in 1982, suffering a brain hemorrhage at the wheel of a car. She was loved and Monaco mourned. Prince Rainier threw his energy into Monaco and the memory of his wife, building the port of Fontvieille, the Princess Grace Hospital, and established the Princess Grace Foundation to support young actors. He never remarried. Their son Albert is the current Prince of Monaco. Monegasques are not permitted to gamble in the casino, but James Bond can. Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, Porsche, Ferrari, Bugatti, they're everywhere. Monte Carlo has been made famous by the rich and famous, but we were not permitted to enter the casino because I was wearing shorts. The very first car race on the streets of Monte Carlo was organised by Anthony Nogues in 1929. It was sanctioned by Prince Louis II and the Automobile Club of Monaco. The race was won by William Grover Williams, known as Williams, driving a Bugatti Type 35B. And the rest, they say, is history. So you've seen the memorial to Princess Grace?
I have.
Yeah. Was it fitting?
It was surprising how many flowers and things there were around them, to be fair, still.
Yeah.
Poor Prince Rainier only had 2 flowers.
Mind your head. We found a panoramic view and a chap at a wheel steering a ship. We'll be going that way. That way is Italy. Time now is 11:47 and they would like us away by 12, so that's okay. We'll be able to do that. Heading towards San Remo, and it's all very complicated.